There are two kinds of men in this world. One commands respect the moment he steps into a room, and the other is ignored, overlooked, and forgotten. One is pursued, desired, and valued. The other is used, taken for granted, and left behind. The difference, it's not money, it's not looks, it's not even charm. It's something deeper, something that separates the high-value man from the low-value man. And once you understand it, once you truly absorb it, your entire life will change. A high-value man doesn't beg for attention. He commands it. He doesn't chase. He attracts. He doesn't react. He leads. Women want him. Men respect him, and opportunities gravitate toward him. Why? Because he has something rare, something most men will never develop. He has purpose. He has self-respect. He has discipline. And most importantly, he has power over himself. A high-value man commands respect not by demanding it, but by embodying the qualities that naturally draw admiration. Respect is never something that can be forced or begged for. It is a byproduct of a man's character, his discipline, his mindset, and his actions. A man who chases respect, who constantly seeks validation, who needs people to acknowledge him, he will never truly have it. The moment a man begins to depend on external approval, he has already lost his power. And once power is lost, so is respect. Respect comes from strength, not just physical strength, but the strength of presence, the strength of mind, the strength of will. It is something deeply felt, not just seen. You can't fake it. A man who is truly respected walks into a room, and without saying a word, people notice. It's in his posture, in the way he carries himself, in the way his eyes hold steady, unwavering, unshaken. His energy is different. There is no desperation in his demeanor, no anxious need to prove himself. He doesn't try to impress, and that in itself is impressive. He knows who he is, and because of that, others naturally recognize his value. A low-value man, however, does the opposite. He believes respect is something to be earned through approval-seeking, through trying too hard, through over-explaining himself, through constantly looking around for reassurance. He thinks if he pleases enough people, they will respect him. But the truth is, the more you chase respect, the further it runs from you. The more you try to prove your worth, the more people sense that you don't truly believe in it yourself. And that is the key. The world responds to how you see yourself. If you walk around doubting your value, waiting for someone to confirm it, you will always be treated as lesser. But if you move through life as if your value is already established, as if you don't need to prove anything to anyone, the world has no choice but to respect you. Women understand this on an instinctive level. A man who is constantly trying to impress a woman will never truly hold her interest. The man who is too eager, too available, too desperate for her attention, he is immediately placed in the category of men who are taken for granted. Why? Because his need for her approval signals weakness. It tells her he does not see himself as enough. It tells her he is unsure of himself. And when a man does not believe in himself, why should anyone else? A high-value man, on the other hand, does not seek approval from a woman because he is already sure of his own worth. He does not need her to validate him. He does not chase her because he does not believe she is above him. He knows he is the prize, and because of that, she treats him like one. This principle applies to every aspect of life. In business, in friendships, in social dynamics, people respect those who do not seek their approval. Think about the most powerful men in history, the ones who shaped the world, who led nations, who built empires. Were they the ones constantly seeking validation? Or were they the ones who simply moved forward with conviction, with purpose, with an unshakable belief in themselves? Respect follows certainty. When a man is certain of himself, when he no longer doubts his value, when he no longer needs others to confirm his worth, people feel it, and they respond to it. The mistake most men make is believing that respect is something external, that it comes from achievement, status, or wealth, but true respect starts internally. A poor man with unbreakable confidence will be respected more than a rich man who is insecure. A man with no material success but an unshakable sense of self will command more admiration than a man with everything but no self-worth. This is because respect is about presence. It is about how you see yourself, how you carry yourself, how much you rely on external validation versus internal certainty. A high-value man understands this, and that is why he never begs for respect. He never chases it. He never looks to others to define his worth. He simply is. And because he is, the world recognizes it. Emotional mastery is the foundation of a high-value man. It is what separates the strong from the weak, the respected from the disregarded, the leaders from the followers. A man who is ruled by his emotions is unpredictable, unstable, and ultimately powerless. He reacts to life instead of controlling it. He is easily offended, easily discouraged, easily manipulated. And because of this, the world does not take him seriously. Women test him, bosses overlook him, society dismisses him. Why? Because he has no control over himself. And a man who has no control over himself can never command respect, influence, or success. A high-value man, however, is the master of his emotions, not their slave. He understands that feelings are temporary, but discipline and self-control are permanent. He does not allow anger to make decisions for him. He does not allow sadness to paralyze him. He does not allow fear to dictate his actions. He may feel all these emotions, but he does not let them control him. This is what makes him strong. This is what makes him different. Most men allow their emotions to dictate their lives. If they feel lazy, they stop working. If they feel rejected, they spiral into self-doubt. If they feel disrespected, they react impulsively, making the situation worse. They believe that because they feel a certain way, they must act on it. And this is why they remain weak, stuck, and frustrated. They live like children governed by emotions instead of logic, discipline, and strategy. But the truth is, life does not reward emotional weakness. It punishes it. A man who cannot control himself will always be controlled by someone else. He will always be at the mercy of his moods, his urges, his impulses. And that is why he will never rise. Women instinctively test men for this reason. They want to see if a man can control himself. If a man becomes reactive, defensive, or emotional every time he is challenged, he immediately loses value in her eyes. She may not even realize why, but she will feel it. A man who lacks emotional control is unstable, and an unstable man is not a man she can respect, trust, or desire. But when a man remains calm, unshaken, and unfazed, she sees him as strong. He is different, he is rare, and she is drawn to him. This principle applies in all areas of life. In business, the man who controls his emotions will always win against the man who reacts impulsively. In conflict, the man who remains calm will always outthink the man who lets anger cloud his judgment. In leadership, the man who can make decisions without being overwhelmed by emotion will always earn respect. Emotional mastery is power, and power is what makes a man valuable. But this mastery does not come easily. It requires training. It requires discipline. It requires self-awareness. A man must learn to pause before reacting, to think before speaking, to analyze before acting. He must develop the ability to separate his emotions from his decisions. This does not mean suppressing emotions, it means controlling them, feeling them, understanding them, but never allowing them to dictate his actions. This is what separates the high-value man from the low-value man. A low-value man does the opposite. He lets his emotions run wild. He overreacts. He lashes out. He allows temporary feelings to create permanent consequences. He ruins relationships, destroys opportunities, and damages his own reputation, all because he never learned to master himself. And the world sees this weakness. Women see it. Employers see it. Friends see it. And they lose respect, because a man who cannot control himself cannot be trusted with anything important. The difference between success and failure, respect and disrespect, attraction and rejection often comes down to this single skill: emotional mastery. A man who has it will always rise. A man who lacks it will always fall. And the choice is his to make. Will he rule over his emotions, or will they rule over him? The answer to that question will determine everything about his life. Struggle and discipline are what build a high-value man. No man is born great. No man wakes up one day and suddenly commands respect, power, or influence. He must earn it. He must forge himself through adversity, through hardship, through discomfort. The weak avoid struggle. The strong embrace it. And that is what separates the men who rise from the men who remain stuck. A high-value man does not fear struggle. He does not run from pain. He understands that pain is the price of growth. He knows that the discomfort he feels today is shaping the strength he will have tomorrow. He welcomes the challenge. He seeks out the difficult path because he understands something that the average man does not. Comfort is the enemy. Comfort makes men weak. Comfort keeps men small. Comfort is the reason most men will never reach their full potential. Most men avoid anything that requires effort. They want results without the work. They want the body without the discipline. They want success without the sacrifice. They want admiration without earning it, and because of that, they remain stuck in mediocrity. They make excuses, they blame circumstances, they convince themselves that life is unfair. But the truth is, life does not reward those who avoid difficulty. Life rewards those who endure it. The man who chooses struggle over comfort, who chooses discipline over laziness, who chooses growth over stagnation, he is the one who rises. Every great man has suffered. Every high-value man has gone through hardship. The difference is that he did not allow it to break him. He allowed it to shape him. The failures, the rejections, the setbacks, these were not the end. They were the beginning. They were the lessons that refined him, that built his resilience, that made him unshakable. A weak man sees struggle as a punishment. A strong man sees it as an opportunity. This is the mindset that makes the difference. Discipline is what separates those who succeed from those who fail. It is the foundation of all greatness. A high-value man does not act based on how he feels. He acts based on his mission, his vision, his standards. If he says he will wake up at 5 a.m., he wakes up at 5 a.m. If he says he will work out, he works out. If he says he will build his business, he does the work. His word means something first and foremost to himself, and because of that, he becomes unstoppable. A low-value man, on the other hand, lives according to his emotions. If he feels tired, he sleeps in. If he feels unmotivated, he skips the work. If he feels discouraged, he gives up. He allows his feelings to dictate his actions, and because of that, he never builds discipline. He never develops resilience. He remains weak, unreliable, and stuck, and this is why he does not command respect. He has no self-respect. He cannot even trust himself to follow through on his own promises. And if he cannot trust himself, why should anyone else? The world respects men who have discipline. Women are drawn to men who have control over themselves. Society rewards those who show up, who put in the work, who stay consistent even when they don't feel like it. Because discipline is rare, most men quit. Most men look for shortcuts. Most men fold under pressure. But the man who does not quit, the man who keeps going, the man who refuses to make excuses, that man becomes powerful. That man becomes high value. Success is not an accident. Respect is not given freely. Strength is not inherited, it is built. And the only way to build it is through struggle, through challenge, through discipline. The easy path leads nowhere. The hard path leads to greatness, and every man has a choice. Will he take the path of least resistance, or will he take the path that will make him a man of value? That decision will define his future. And once it is made, there is no turning back. A woman is naturally drawn to a man who is self-sufficient, independent, and secure in himself. She does not want a man who needs her to feel complete, who seeks her validation, or who depends on her attention to feel like he has worth. The moment a man puts a woman on a pedestal, the moment he makes her approval his source of confidence, he loses her respect. She may enjoy the attention at first, but deep down, she knows that a man who needs her to feel valuable is not truly valuable. He is replaceable. He is weak. And weakness is never attractive. A high-value man does not seek a woman's approval because he is already sure of his own worth. His confidence does not come from her compliments, her affection, or her presence in his life. It comes from within. He knows who he is. He knows what he brings to the table. He knows that his value is not determined by whether a woman chooses him or not. And because of that, she is drawn to him. She sees that he is different from most men. He is rare. He is a challenge. He is a man she cannot easily manipulate or control. And that makes him irresistible. A low-value man, on the other hand, operates from a place of scarcity. He believes that he needs a woman to feel good about himself. He seeks her attention desperately. He constantly tries to impress her, to win her over, to prove that he is worthy. And because of that, he loses all mystery, all intrigue, all attraction. A woman can feel when a man needs her more than she needs him. And the moment she senses that imbalance, she loses interest. She may tolerate him, she may even keep him around for attention, but she will never truly desire him. She will never see him as a man of value. Women are attracted to strength, confidence, and self-sufficiency. A man who is on his mission, who is focused on his goals, who is passionate about his purpose, this is the man who naturally attracts women. He does not chase them. He does not try to win them over. He simply exists as a man of value, and because of that they come to him. They admire his focus. They respect his ambition. They feel safe in his presence because they know he is not emotionally dependent on them. He does not need them to fill a void in his life. His life is already full. A low-value man makes the mistake of thinking that the more he does for a woman, the more she will love him. He believes that if he is always available, always eager to please, always putting her needs above his own, she will appreciate him. But this is not how attraction works. A woman does not respect a man who has no boundaries. She does not admire a man who sacrifices his self-respect just to make her happy. She may use him, she may keep him around for convenience, but she will never see him as high value. The difference between a man who is wanted and a man who is discarded is simple. One is independent, the other is needy. One is confident in himself, the other needs external validation. One puts himself first, the other makes a woman his entire world. And that is why one commands attraction while the other is constantly struggling to keep a woman's interest. A high-value man is a man who lives for himself first. He does not abandon his purpose for a relationship. He does not give up his dreams to make a woman happy. He understands that his power comes from his independence. And because of that, women want him more. The less he needs them, the more they desire him. The more he focuses on himself, the more they chase him. Because at the end of the day, women don't want a man who needs them. They want a man who chooses them, but only because he already knows he doesn't need anyone to be complete. Weakness leads to invisibility and disrespect. In this world, men who lack strength mentally, emotionally, and physically are ignored, overlooked, and forgotten. No one respects a weak man. No one follows him. No one admires him. Society may talk about kindness, fairness, and equality, but the truth is brutal. Weak men are cast aside. They are not valued. They are not seen. They exist, but they do not matter. A high-value man understands this. He knows that to be respected, he must be strong. He must be disciplined. He must be capable. He must be someone that others look up to, not down on. Strength is not an option, it is a requirement. And strength is not just about muscles or money. It is about mindset. It is about presence. It is about the way a man carries himself, the way he speaks, the way he moves through the world. A low-value man does not understand this. He believes that just because he exists, he deserves attention. Just because he is nice, he deserves respect. Just because he tries, he deserves success. But the world does not work that way. Weakness is repellent. It pushes people away. A man who constantly complains, who plays the victim, who seeks pity instead of power, he is ignored. Women don't want him. Men don't respect him. Life does not reward him. Women in particular have no attraction toward weak men. They may feel sorry for them, they may befriend them, they may even tolerate them, but they will never desire them. A woman wants a man she can look up to, not a man she has to carry. She wants a man who stands firm in his beliefs, who can protect, provide, and lead. A weak man who is unsure of himself, who hesitates, who constantly needs reassurance, he is invisible to her. She may acknowledge him, but she will never truly see him. The workplace operates the same way. A man who is passive, who never speaks up, who never asserts himself, he will always be overlooked. He will not get the promotion. He will not earn the respect of his colleagues. He will not be taken seriously. Success does not come to those who wait for permission. It comes to those who demand it, those who prove themselves, those who make themselves undeniable. The world does not hate weak men, it simply does not care about them. This is the reality most men refuse to accept. They believe that if they are nice enough, if they are patient enough, if they wait long enough, eventually things will change. But things do not change. A man must change himself. He must harden himself. He must build himself into someone who cannot be ignored. He must become strong not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Strength is not given. It is earned. And it is earned through struggle, through hardship, through discipline. A man who avoids difficulty will always remain weak. A man who avoids responsibility will never gain power. A man who refuses to take control of his own life will always be controlled by others. The choice is simple: remain weak and invisible, or become strong and respected. There is no middle ground. A high-value man does not wait for respect. He commands it. He does not wait for permission. He takes what he has earned. He does not rely on others to lift him up. He builds himself up, and because of that he is seen, he is heard, he is remembered. Weakness leads to invisibility. Strength leads to legacy. The question is, which path will you choose? A high-value man does not chase people, he attracts them. He understands that desperation repels, while certainty and purpose draw others in. A man who chases is a man who is signaling lack, neediness, and insecurity. Whether it's chasing a woman, friendships, business opportunities, or social validation, the act of chasing itself sends the message that he is not enough on his own. And the moment others sense that, they start to pull away. Attraction is about magnetism, not pursuit. It's about becoming the kind of man that people naturally want to be around, not one who has to convince others to stay. A man who chases a woman puts her above himself. He believes that her attention is something he must work for, something he must earn, rather than something that should come naturally as a result of his value. And because of that, she loses interest. Women are not attracted to men who beg for their time. They are drawn to men who are focused, driven, and fully immersed in their purpose. A man who is truly high value does not need to chase because his presence alone is enough to make women want to be part of his world. He does not flood her with texts. He does not constantly seek validation. He does not try too hard. Instead, he moves forward with confidence, knowing that the right people will gravitate toward him without force. The same principle applies in friendships. A low-value man is the one who is always the one reaching out, always the one trying to fit in, always the one putting in effort while others put in none. He is the one who overinvests in friendships, hoping that if he just tries hard enough, people will like him. But that's not how it works. Respect is not earned through desperation. It is earned through presence, value, and boundaries. The man who never chases friendships, who focuses on improving himself, who builds his own life, he is the one that others want to be around. He is not seeking validation because he is already validated within himself, and because of that, people respect him. Business and success follow the same rule. A man who is constantly chasing opportunities instead of creating them will always struggle. The most successful men in the world are not the ones begging for deals, pleading for partnerships, or hoping for luck. They are the ones who have built something so valuable that opportunities come to them. They have developed themselves to such a high level that others seek them out. They have mastered a skill, built a reputation, created undeniable value, and because of that, they attract success rather than chase it. Chasing, in any form, is a sign of weakness. It tells the world that you believe you are not enough as you are. It signals lack. It shows that you think you must convince people to choose you. But attraction is different. Attraction is effortless. Attraction is the natural response to power, purpose, and confidence. A high-value man knows this. He does not run after anything because he understands that the things meant for him will come to him through his own self-development and positioning. A low-value man does the opposite. He chases money without building skills. He chases women without building himself. He chases respect without earning it. And because of that, he never gets what he wants. He is constantly running, constantly seeking, constantly in a state of need. But a man who stops chasing and starts building, he shifts everything. He stops focusing on getting and starts focusing on becoming. He stops worrying about who likes him and starts making himself someone worth liking. He stops running after validation and starts validating himself. And the moment that happens, the world begins to respond differently to him. People see him differently. Women notice him differently. Opportunities start to find him instead of him desperately looking for them. Everything in life is a reflection of the energy you put out. If you act like someone who is always trying to be chosen, you will never be chosen. If you act like someone who must convince others of his worth, they will never see your worth. But if you carry yourself as someone who is already valuable, already secure, already complete, then the world has no choice but to see you that way. The man who chases will always lose. The man who attracts will always win.